Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm Danny Thomas. I'm the Executive Director here at the Art and History Museums of Maitland, and tonight we are celebrating the opening of A Constant Goodbye, the Table Runner Stories of Gisela Romero. And I'm going to start the evening by thanking our sponsors who helped to make this possible. I'm going to thank the City of Maitland first. They are our partners in preserving this beautiful historical site. And this exhibition is also supported by grant funding from United Arts of Central Florida, Orange County, the state of Florida, and the Galloway Family Foundation. And then I want to thank all of you for coming out and celebrating with us this evening. Our individual donors do make up the heart of our giving circle. And I do want to mention we are entering our annual collaborative campaigns with United Arts. The campaign starts on February 1st. And if you enjoy yourselves tonight, I urge you to please consider making a donation through the campaign. All donations are matched at 15%, and all of those funds do help support programming like this. You can find a QR code in your brochures, and then all of our staff at the tent will be happy to give you more information as well. So Gisela's journey with this body of work began several years ago, and the staff at A&H have had the privilege to witness the final leg of that journey unfolding here during her residency at A&H. It has been an absolute honor to be a part of that. I knew something special was happening in her studio shortly after she settled in, but it wasn't until this past spring that I really understood the full scope of what was happening. One morning, Gisela came to me and Dan Hess, our chief curator, with this simple manila folder, and very humbly and very quietly just kind of pressed it into our hands and said, these are the table runner stories inside this folder. And she was leaving for Venezuela, so she left us with the stories. And it was a little bit of chaos on campus. We were in the middle of another exhibition installation at that time, so I had set aside the folder. And I picked it up the next day, just casually thinking. I sat in the middle of the office and I opened it, and I was astounded by the stories that were inside. I mean, it's pure poetry. I cried in the middle of the office, which isn't fitting of a director, but it's okay if you want to cry when you read the stories as well. Everybody can do that because they're incredibly moving. These stories that she's brought to life, both visually and poetically, are painfully human. These are stories of immigration. A lot of them are hard stories. There's also bright stories. But even if you haven't made that story as an immigrant yourself, you're going to understand these emotions. Joy, hope, sadness, the pain of change, and the difficulty of saying goodbye. And there's one word that repeats itself throughout the work, so please look for it when you go to the installation. And if nothing else, I hope you take that word with you tonight, keep it in your back pocket, and give it to somebody or give it to yourself when you need it, and that word is compassion. And so thank you, Gisela, for bringing those works to us, and thank you for the compassion that you show with everything that you do. And thank you all for joining us to witness this evening. So I'm going to pass the microphone over now to our Chief Curator, Dan Hess.
Hi, really welcome, and thank you all for showing up for this very important exhibition opening. Usually I kind of like to speak off the cuff, but I do have to get through some remarks, so just bear with me. I know that you want to hear from Gisela and not from me, but I do have to make some important announcements. One thing I have to thank is my director, because of her vision and her wisdom and knowing what this institution is and what it's not, and how we can be the best version of ourselves. This exhibition is proof of that, so thank you, Danny. I also need to thank my fellow staff, museum attendants, and my volunteers, the volunteers we have here, for the love and the care that they have shown Gisela and to this very, very meaningful project, so thank you to them. I have to thank some outside people that without their assistance, I could not have done what I've done in the gallery, and that's Leo Cordovi, Karina Jimenez, Julio Nunez, and Dan Cohen for adding their considerable talents to the installation of this exhibition. To support her studio practice and the next endeavor that she's about to undertake, Gisela has made the incredible drawings that you'll see tonight in Gallery 4 available for sale. So if you see something that you find very interesting. You'll probably find a lot of them. I know that some of them have already been sold. Please see our wonderful museum staff at the front desk for any assistance. One thing that I'm very proud about is that we were able to, because of a contact Gisela had in Caracas, Venezuela, we were able to create a beautiful exhibition poster to celebrate this exhibition. Growing up in New York, when I would go to the Met or MoMA, or I would go to when I visit my brother in Washington, we'd go to the National Gallery. I remember I could never afford one of the beautiful catalogs, so I would always look for the exhibition posters. And I remember having a wonderful collection of those. So the fact that for the first time here at A&H, we could produce one of those, and really it was because Gisela and I came up with the idea, but it was the love of her friend, who is one of the top graphic designers in Venezuela. She had a contact with a printer. Her name is Carolina Arnal, is that correct? So because of Carolina Arnal, she designed this as a gift of love to Gisela and to support the exhibition. So we have signed copies being sold in both the mural room, the Mayan courtyard, and in the main desk of the museum. So please, they're $20 for a signed copy, $10 for an unsigned copy. So please assist what we're doing here, and the profits for that get split between Gisela's studio practice and our arts programming here at A&H. So please take one of those home with you tonight. Wow, it's very rare for a chief curator or any curator to have their office 60 steps from an artist studio, to have that kind of access to somebody who is telling such wonderful stories. So when we knew that we were going to give Gisela this exhibition 9 months ago, I walked into her studio one day and I said, you know what, we really have to make the most of this. And so we met every week for 9 months. The only time we didn't meet was when Gisela and Hector, her wonderful husband Hector, had to go back to Venezuela. But apart from that, we met because we realized that we had an opportunity to squeeze every nuance and every important moment out of what we were trying to do. And I think the exhibition is proof to the planning and care of that. So one thing I do want to mention briefly for me was when we completed Gallery 2, what you'll witness in there are these kind of, I view them as like these disembodied souls, these individuals that once were, but now they only remain in memory and shadow. And to Gisela, these are very real individuals. And the abstractions that you'll see in there are given life back by the writings that the very incredible poetic writings that accompany each of these pieces as you walk through the exhibition. So when we were bringing all of those incredible works over to the gallery, I went to her studio to collect them, and each one was meticulously folded in a garment bag. And when I was carrying them all to the exhibition, I really did see the level of care and the level of planning and the level of empathy that Gisela had for each and every aspect of this exhibition. So please welcome Gisela Romero.
Thank you so much. I have my club of fans here. They are my friends since I was in an elementary school. So we have, seen each other our whole life. Thank you for coming, because they are coming from different parts. They are coming from Miami, and one of them lives in Caracas, the other one lives in Colombia. So thank you for being here with me as always. And thank you to all of you for being part of A Constant Goodbye, by being here, by being part of this adventure that I have had here in A&H. It has been wonderful to work here in this magical place. Thank you, Danielle, thank you, Dan, and thanks to the whole team of A&H for all your patience with me and all the details and your generosity. The exhibition has many emotions. This exhibition came from from a lot of pain. and it transformed in acceptance and joy. This body of work wants to represent the emotions that people have when have to emigrate from one place to another to find a better life. But at the end, they are the same emotions that any person could have in any transition in their lives. So it's the same emotion from one place to another, and also from one stage of the life to another, or the transition when you are aging, or when you are leaving your children, or anything. So I hope that I could translate all these emotions in images that you can enjoy, and in words that you can read and feel. Thank you to Danielle again, Danielle Thomas, and especially thanks to Dan Hess, because he has been a great curator, a great human being, and a friend to me and to Hector. I also want to thank Hector, I don't know where is my Hector, for all your help. Yes, you have been wonderful. Thank you for all you have done with me and for me. And I don't want to say anything else, but inviting you to see the exhibition, enjoy yourself, celebrate life, and with this beautiful full moon that we have today, the only thing we have to do is go to the party and enjoy. So let's see you in the galleries, and then see you in the party, and I hope we can dance together.
Hector, please come up here, Hector. Really, I have to, this is Gisela's exhibition, but this gentleman has been the foundation for all of us. It was a very emotional endeavor getting the exhibition up and running, and Hector would come in at these key moments when we were tired and we were worn out, and he was our kind of warrior poet. He would come in and give us this philosophy on why we were doing is important and why we had to continue. So please, a round of applause for Hector.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Gisela. Essentially, I'm just a witness. I'm a witness of an act of love. An act of determination and an act of change, and to try to deconstruct a personal experience of transition is not easy. I'm not talking only about the experience of moving from one country to another. I'm talking about the phenomenon of change. Most of the human experience is built about change. It's built about transition. And this show is about that. In this case, Gisela is providing her content. It's her life story. It's her experience. But at the end, it's not different from the experience that everyone, each one of you have come through when you exercise the process of living. It's not different. It's the same. The emotions, the confusion. So please, when you go back to the galleries, if you want to, try to see that particular show with those eyes, the eyes of the experience of change, of the joy of change and the pains of change. At the end, this is what is for. This is what we live for and we live by. Changes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very amazing. Thank you. It's an act of love, especially. Thank you. Thank you so much.